Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Chris. I'm here with Kathy. We are Ginger Marvin on Instagram and YouTube. We have 2 days worth of what solds for you today. This is for today, which is Saturday, and yesterday, which was Friday. So we're kind of putting two and one together today, since there weren't a whole lot between them, but we're going to have some questions at the end of this one too. So Kathy's going to go ahead and show you what sold for us on Friday, and then we'll jump to today. So here's Kathy.
Hey guys, we only have eBay sales today, so we'll just go through them really quick. First up is this Airwick Air Freshener. I picked this up at Goodwill. We were going to use it, but we decided to go with something else, so I listed it. It looked like comps were around $30 shipped, although shipping was around $10. So I listed mine at $19.95 plus shipping. That way I got the shipping to where the buyer lived, and so yeah, I think the buyer ended up paying like 11 something, which on the screen you're gonna see $8.25 because that's showing you what it would have been if someone in Colorado purchased it. But yeah, they ended up paying after tax and everything like $34 for this one Airwick thing. And I did want to mention, if you didn't know, like aerosol type things you have to ship ground, so you can't ship this like normal priority mail or like in a padded flat rate or anything like that. So sometimes it's a little more expensive. This I think ended up being like $10 and a few cents, but I'm just putting this in a reused padded envelope and then putting it inside this box. So just in case you didn't know that, I recently just learned that I haven't ever sold anything previously, but I do have a few perfumes to list. So if you're listing perfumes, you're supposed to only send those grounded.
I think usually anything flammable or combustible like aerosol, pressurized.
I did hear on, so before, like I watch Part-Time Pickers a lot, and I know he mentioned he sells a lot of old used perfumes, but I guess recently with managed payments, eBay doesn't let you sell used perfume anymore, but only new. So if you didn't know that, maybe something to look into. Alright, next up, these are some LL Bean like moccasin type shoes. I didn't even know what to call these when I listed them, but I actually only picked them up because like I've been watching like Renzi, and sometimes they pick a bunch of LL Bean boots. It wasn't a brand on my radar necessarily, but now it kind of is, and I've sold a few things, not shoes, that have sold well. So these ended up selling for $39.95 free ship. I did pay $8 for them at Goodwill, so I think I made close to a $20 profit. Happy with that. What did I want to say? I don't know. But yeah, that was a good sale. Oh, I just relisted those like yesterday. So they've been listed for at least a month, and then I relisted and then they sold. So I do think relisting.
Did you change shipping or anything?
I think I might have changed it to free ship. I think it was listed at 30 plus buyer pay ship last month, which it would have came out to the same price. But
so that's one thing we do if you're new around here. We'll kind of change the shipping option from free to paid shipping whenever the 30 days is up on the eBay listing, just to kind of give it a little fresher look.
yeah.
And it worked.
Obviously, one way doesn't catch the buyer's attention, and then maybe the next month it will.
Yeah.
So, next up, these are some Merrell. I showed these on my Instagram stories last night, mostly because I mentioned that I just got these like less than a week ago at Goodwill. They were priced at like, I think they were priced at like $15, but they were 30% off, so just over $10. And I like debated way too long over whether or not to buy them. I know Merrell does well, especially like the men's trail type shoes like these, but I have a similar pair that I've had since summer that has not sold, that I paid like $20 for because they were basically new without box. And so in my head I'm like, I shouldn't buy another pair. Anyways, I decided to buy them because I have done well with other ones, and I'm glad I did because these sold last night for $49.95 free shipping. So shipping on those I think was a little pricey. Okay, that wasn't the one. One of these things was going to New York and it was kind of pricey. I think that was these. Those were almost $12 to ship, but these were only like $10 to ship. So still a really good sale. And then these are some Stride Right boots that I picked up just last week at a local consignment, and not like a local thrift shop. They were priced at $1.99. I listed them for $24.95. Sent an offer to watchers of $20 free ship, and someone accepted that. Shipping was about $4 on those. And then these are, or this is a Knox Rose, that's just Target brand, like a floral tunic blouse. This was actually my personal blouse. and I wore it several times. It got like a snag in the front, so I listed it pretty low to begin with and sent an additional offer. So buyer paid $12 free shipping was like $4.30 something, so not a huge profit, but taking some money back on it. All right, and then these are my favorite thing. These are some Alice in Wonderland Vans. They're like Liberty print. They've been listed several months at this point, but I had them listed high to begin with and just recently lowered the price. And then I also sent an offer to watchers of $49.95 plus shipping. I just realized you're going to see on the screen as I was starting the video that these are women's size 9, but I made a typo in the title and it says women's size 3, but they are still listed correctly. Like in eBay, they are a size 9, and like I showed a picture of the tag and stuff. So I messaged the buyer and I hope they write back, but I swear this has happened like 3 times and they never write back. So I don't know what to do, if I should just send it if she doesn't get back in a day, or if I should just cancel and, you know, say she can rebuy if at a little bit lower price for the hassle. I don't know. What would you guys do? Have you ever had that happen? So, I mean, I was just going to ship them and just hope that she meant to buy the size 9, which they are, and then if not, I would take the return, but I don't know. I went ahead and messaged her, so.
Because you were saying there's no such thing as a women's 3, right?
Yeah, like women's 3 doesn't really exist because like youth sizes go up to like a 5 or so.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of transfer over to women's, so. And then like women's low sizes are, I don't know. It gets weird, but yeah, as far as I know, there's no women's size 3. I didn't even think there was anything below a 5 until this week. I found a naturalizer women's like 4.5, but I'm 99.9% sure there's no women's 3. So
right.
Hopefully she knew, and it does say men's 7.5 next to it, which most people know they're about a size and a half to 2 sizes different.
So we're crossing our fingers there, but.
Alright guys, so I'm just jumping back in to say the lady wrote back as we were starting to pack things up, and she wrote, "Hello, thanks for checking, went by the size in the picture, so we're all good. I do need the size 9, so yay."
Yeah.
Crisis averted. But yeah, that's happened at least 2 other times where something, like one time it was like a color issue where I felt like when I pulled the item, it was a different color than I felt like it looked on the screen, and the guy never wrote back. And then there was something else that happened once, and the guy never wrote back. So glad you wrote back. But yeah. Next up, this is a Columbia women's fleece. I have $3 into it. I listed it for $24.95 free ship and sent an offer to a watcher of $19.95 free ship. Shipping was like $5.40 something. So those usually sell around $25, but I just wanted to get it out, so I sent a better offer. And then this is a little Chicago Cubs romper. I only bought this because it was $1. I know I say I'll pretty much buy anything for $1. And I listed it for $14.95 free ship, and that's what it sold for. It's under 4 ounces. Shipping was about like $3 and maybe 18 cents or something. Alright, and then last up, I don't buy a lot of sports stuff, but I will buy it like if it, like that just said Cubs, it didn't have a player on the back, because I don't know like what players are current and what are not for the most part. So usually if it has a player, I don't buy it. And I really don't buy it if it's more than $1, because I know sports can do well, but right now sports are kind of weird all around. You know, a lot of them are not even happening. So
yeah, we don't even keep up with them either, so we just don't know the ins and outs.
Alright, and then last sale of the day was another Fox Racing shirt. This one sold full price of $19.95 free ship. Shipping was around $3.50, and I bought it for about $2 and some change. So yeah, glad I list on eBay, because otherwise I might not have had any sales today. Hey guys, I threw up a couple items on buy sell trade last night, and 2 of those ones sold. So first up is this Hannah Anderson Elf Sleeper. I threw on the Bowden Love mini Bowden board. I got this just last week at Goodwill for 99 cents. It was in the Halloween section actually. I saw a post on like the Gunny Sacks board that people been finding Gunny Sacks dresses in the Halloween section. So I decided to check. Didn't find any of those, but I did find this. So I listed it for $20 shipped, and somebody bought it outright at that price. So $1 into $20. Shipping was around $3. Pretty good fast sale there. Next up is this just a Bo Hudson slouch beanie. I sold this on the Bo Hudson board. This was my son's hat. I probably paid around $18 for it, but it sold for $18 shipped. And the shipping was about $3 as well. Alright. And then, next up, this is going to be eBay sales. These are just some Columbia snow boots. I got these at, I think I got them at Once Upon a Child. I have $10 into them. I think that's the only place I'd pay $10 for boots like this. So, they sold for $23 plus shipping in just about a week or so. Shipping on those, well, you'll see on the screen. I charged them $7.52, but the padded flat rate has went up since then to $7.91. So if anyone cares to update their prices, it's $7.91 now. Alright, these are some Sam Edelman just black flats. They were in really good shape. I don't always pick up this brand, but they looked almost new, so I did. They were only $5. I could tell they were under a pound, so they're first class shipping. They ended up selling for $28 free ship, and that was an offer I sent to a watcher. I had them listed at $35 free ship. Alright, and then this is the brand Pink Chicken. This is a really good kids brand to look out for. This particular print isn't the best, and this actually sat in my death pile for over a year because it just had, I had to describe something about it which I didn't want to describe, so for no reason at all it sat. I did pay $4 for it, and it ended up just selling for $18 free ship, so not the best, but yeah, they have, Pink Chicken has some really good prints, and if you find like a nicer print, you can usually get between 30 to 40 for a dress, so definitely something to look out for. What else did I want to say? I don't know. But yeah, those dresses retail for like 80 something dollars. It's kind of crazy. Alright, and then this was another death pile item. It's just a women's Under Armour like cold gear long sleeve shirt, but it has a couple holes in the sleeve and then a couple holes over here, so anyways, I almost didn't list it, but I was like, well, let me get my $2 back at least. So I listed it at $12.95 free ship, and it actually sold in like a day. So just goes to show if you list something cheap enough, you can at least like get your money back if you're willing to take the time to do it. So I actually made my $2 plus a few extra bucks back. So.
And it is surprising people will buy stuff that's flawed if the price is right and you disclose it right. And
most people like that shirt anyways, they're just gonna like throw it under their jacket to go running or something, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. Alright, and then
hopefully they just read the descriptions really well, you know, that's
yeah.
But we do disclose all of that kind of stuff, so we don't have we don't really have issues with that. So
alright, and then I had Chris share my posh closet. Oh my gosh, I am stumbling over all the words today. I was outsourcing last night, and Chris shared my plush closet because I made him, and not really made him. I asked him and he did it, but he probably didn't want to. But I did get 3 sales from it, so it was probably worth it. This is a Ralph Lauren. I assume that Lauren's Jeans Co. is Ralph Lauren. The tag looks Ralph Lauren-ish, but anyways, I got this at a garage sale over the summer for $5. When I ended up washing it, actually, because it did have some dirt on it, and while I washed it, one of the buttons fell off. So we don't sew or anything like that, so I stuck it in the death pile, finally pulled it out just, I think 2 days ago. Listed it for $50, even though that was well above what comps were telling me. And someone offered me $40 in the first day. So I definitely accepted that. And happy it's getting a new home. These types of jackets do well for me. I use the keywords barn coat in there, and that seems to do well for me. So that was that. And then this was just an H&M sweater that I've probably had for 2 years at this point. I don't know why it took so long to sell. These types of little cardigans usually do well for me, but I have $3 into it. I listed it for, I probably started it at like 18, which H&M doesn't retail for a ton. And then it was dropped to 15, and then the person offered me 12, so I accepted that. And then this was also in the death pile for a while, just because it was weird to photograph, and I had to measure it and everything like that. So it's just a sports sack, like a very small duffel bag, and it also had like a little pencil pouch type thing. I paid $5 total for both those pieces, and I listed it for $50. Someone offered me $30 in just a couple days of it being listed, so I accepted that. That was my first time selling that brand. I remember Jenna at Empty Hanger talking about it like a long time ago, so that was the first time I ever saw it, got excited, bought it, didn't want to take photos of it, so glad I bought it. It made a decent profit, but I gotta get better at photographing the stuff I don't want to photograph. All right, and last sale of today was some Croc Sandals. I do have $4 into these. I think I listed them probably starting at 20. I let the price go on auto decrease. It was down to 15, and someone offered me 12, plus they're paying shipping, so I accepted, just because it's over summer at this point, and I know I could have got more probably, but I'd have to wait till next summer and then relist, and I'm just happy to double my money. So that was the sales for this morning. We did have a few questions. All right, first up, Heather is asking, she said, I loved your List Perfectly commercial today, haha. When something sells on another platform, how do you mark it sold on eBay? What I do is just go in and end it myself, but I think if you list on List Perfectly's platform first, there is a button you can do that.
Yeah, that's somewhere that we have not really explored too much with List Perfectly and all of their features.
Yeah.
We basically got it to work really well for us and then just kept going. But I do intend to go and look through and check out all those kinds of features, because they do have, I think it's a way, if you list Perfectly first.
Like straight to their catalog, you just go to their website.
Yeah, and then you can click a button that says sold there, and it will pop up all the pages that it's listed on, and then you have to go and manually delist
Normally
from there.
when I sell stuff, I might be out and about, and that
Right.
seems difficult anyway. So I just personally have trained my brain. Like, I have my apps all sort of in a row here: eBay, Kitizen, Poshmark, Mercari. So I just kind of go like, oh, it's sold on eBay, and then I open Kitizen, end it, like go in order. So like reading it like a book and just end it. But
forming that habit.
it did take a while in the beginning. I mean, even still, I miss some. Like, that's why we need to share our Posh closet more, because when I was sharing my closet the other day, I noticed some old stuff that I sold, but I didn't delete or hide or anything. So all right, next up, Patricia's asking, she said she just started selling on Kitizen. She loves List Perfectly also. Do we have any hacks for printing the new labels? Because her Rollo printer is driving her nuts. Oh, so Kitizen did do the new labels, but the way we were doing it with the previous label still works for us, but we have the Dymo, not the Rollo, so I'm really not sure how to.
Unfortunately, we don't have any experience with Rollo. I kind of want to get one and do like a comparison one day, but we'll see if there's that's an expensive comparison. So if anybody has a Rollo laying around that they're not really interested in, or if they want to let us borrow it for a little bit,
or if just if anyone uses Rollo and Kitizen, I'm sure there's got to be a way to do it. But
I've heard Rollo has a pretty efficient way of doing it. We just don't know it because we don't have one.
Yeah.
Dymo is pretty easy. It came with the software that came with the printer has a screen capture option, so you just kind of look at the PDF and drag from corner to corner, and it basically puts it on the label and you print. So it's really easy for Dymo. But unfortunately, we don't know anything about Rollo yet.
All right, so Angela asked, she also loves List Perfectly. She started on eBay and copied from List Perfectly to other platforms. Currently do not have my items stored or saved on List Perfectly yet, so that's what we do. Do you save them to List Perfectly or start on List Perfectly and then list? I'm not sure if I'm asking this question right, so I guess she's probably asking like how we answer the other question. We don't do that. I mean, that's what they recommend, but to me that takes more time, and I don't want to spend my time putting it there. And then I know the argument of, well, you could delist them all, which I still think is kind of a long time to even go log into List Perfectly just to put sold, and then potentially have the item not, have a computer error, which happens all the time. So I don't know. I just personally like doing it my own self. So I don't list there first. I find their catalog kind of confusing, honestly, but I list usually to Poshmark first just because it has the least amount of categories, and I know people probably think that's weird, but I don't put a lot of details in any of our listings. Even on eBay, I fill in the bare minimum. It works for us. I don't know. So I start with Posh. It autofills everything that it needs to. On eBay, I might click one or two other required sections, which is usually just like category, like baby, kid,
color,
whatever. So other than that, I just, sometimes I'll start on Kitizen. It really just depends. I never start on eBay because I find eBay difficult, and then I never start on List Perfectly. So
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, I mean, if you're making sales, you're probably doing it right. So it doesn't really matter where you start, in my opinion.
I think the biggest issue with starting with Poshmark, and this is from List Perfectly. Here, I'll just turn this around real quick. So we have had issues in the past where photo quality kind of diminished from cross-listing from Poshmark to other platforms. And they say that's because Poshmark compresses the photo pretty heavily from then, and then what List Perfectly does is it takes a photo that Poshmark is using and then copies and pastes. So it's basically making a copy of a copy, and so you can lose a lot of the quality there. And they say Poshmark does that because it's an app, it's all on your phone. You don't have to have the super high pixelated photos like eBay. So if you're super stickler on quality of the photo, you probably want to start somewhere like eBay, if you're doing eBay, or straight up to List Perfectly. That is one big advantage for starting on List Perfectly, is having basically the best quality photo to start with and all that kind of stuff. And again, we've talked about it a few times. We do want to do some really in-depth videos on List Perfectly in the future. I think once we get our setup here with the desk finished and streamlined and all that figured out, we're going to do more of those kinds of videos in the future. But yeah, what we do right now, she starts at listing Poshmark on her phone, and then goes to List Perfectly on the computer, and then copies it from List Perfectly to the others. And that's how we've used it. We do want to try the other ways just to see if we're missing out on something, but it seems to be for us a good enough way to do it.
I have tried it a few times, and
we have tried, yeah.
Like it was taking way too long, and it just wasn't helping me that much.
And some of that is because, you're so used to doing it one way, you're not used to doing it a new way. Once you get used to doing it that way, it might actually be faster, and that's something that, we just don't really have that extra time to dedicate to testing that kind of stuff, especially when something's already working. We like to get... We're big volume sellers, so we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for speed and easiness and the lazy way, I guess. That's not the way everybody wants to sell, so that's just what works for us. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back around. I think we have one more question.
All right, last question is from Ruth. So you'll see her. It's not so much a question, but you'll see on the screen what she wrote. She basically is just saying she saw our lights mounted here on the ceiling and was wondering, because they're like renters in their home, so she wants to do it in her home, but she's worried that it will leave too much of a...
So yeah, let's walk over here real quick.
A hole in the ceiling, I think.
Well, I'll show you what we have here, Ruth. So you can kind of see these brackets. They're just 2 screws mounted, and then normally the tripod would be mounted into this piece. And yeah. All right, so Ruth, yeah, that's a close-up of the lights, the brackets that we use. Those screws are screwed into studs, so I don't know. I actually did it because I know, a little screw hole is going to be fairly easy to patch when we do take these down one day. If you're more concerned about damage, one thing you could probably do is get like a 2x4 or some kind of board, screw the brackets into the board, and then you could use less screws to screw into your ceiling if that was something. I don't know if you have like plaster ceilings. We have drywall, so super easy to patch. But yeah, they are very easy, and we were in the same predicament as you, and you can kind of see here. Whoa. You can kind of see here, this is the entryway to our office. It's the stairway. So yeah, you can see we battled 3 tripods in this area right here that we walked through and walked under, and we knocked them down many times. And I finally got fed up. We got those brackets. I think they were like $10 each. We do have them linked in our Amazon store. So if you go down, you can see the tools we use. You can go and you'll find them on our store there. I do highly recommend them. It was super easy to put in. I don't think they would cause too much damage for a renter. And if you're already spackling and all that kind of stuff, it'd just be like another screw hole. So, all right, I think that's going to do it for today, guys. We are going to go ahead and pack these ones up and get them off to the post office. And yeah, thank you so much for the great questions. Happy Halloween, by the way. Today is Halloween. I think this video might be going up Monday. I don't know if I'm going to put it up tomorrow. It might go up tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday. So anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful Halloween. Hope your kids don't get too much candy.
And it's daylight savings
Because
this weekend.
if you guys are like us, you know, I end up eating half the candy anyway. It's just inevitable. So, yeah, daylight savings. Enjoy that extra hour of sleep if you do. And anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.